I just got a real big wasabi hit right there. It was a little much. I'm going to munch on my stuff while we wait for people to get here. And then we will start. Did I play the new Counter-Strike Battle Royale? No, I did not. It just didn't look very good to me. I watched some people play it on streams, and that's all. I don't know. I think if it's two, that's not really a battle royale. If it's 3 or 4, that's like a Mexican standoff and not a battle royale. Maybe around 5 it becomes battle royale. I don't know. Given the way that things are in PC culture these days, someday soon, somebody's going to start a controversy because they think the term Mexican standoff is racist. Yeah, the BSP-based map is not what you want in the year 2019. It's just, the engine is so old. And even, yeah, there's all sorts of decisions in that game that just look so old and wrong now. Right? I think that's where that part of culture is trying to go. All designators are inherently racist, right? Unless they're using them, unless you're explicitly using them to put that group forward explicitly in a positive light, then it's okay, I guess. I don't know. Actually, I'm going to do a web search for the phrase Mexican standoff racist and see if that's already a thing. Yep. there's articles. There are many articles on the internet discussing whether that term is racist. All dated within the past few years, actually. Let me see. The earliest I can find is 2012, but most of them are more recent than that. Oh, people on the internet think everything is racist, so don't worry about that. Someone does. Racist toward people on the internet. Yeah. Feed two birds with one scone. We're going to feed two birds with one scone tonight. That's what we're going to do. All right. I made levels today during the workday. I made 7 levels. It was pretty good. Hopefully they're not all embarrassingly exploitable. So what I'm going to do now is work on some graphical and look and feel things, because it's time to do that. And the first that I want to do is let's go to one of these that has a skipping stone where I can skip it a long way and look at it, like this one. So I recently put in animations on these. This might not be, well, yeah, you can see it. See how it's tilting forward when I push it and stuff like that? That's a new thing I did off stream the other day. But if you'll notice if I push it, it also bounces off the water. But because it's not moving in a straight line now, it looks more jerky than ever. And I'll slow down and I'll show you why. See how it's stopping after everything? That's like old programming doing that. And I think I want to fix that. Now the question is, can I fix that? And the answer is maybe. Maybe I changed the way skipping stones work. So there's a variable that says, you know, here's how long it takes a stone to skip. And then another variable that says, here's what percentage of that time you're actually moving versus what percentage of the time you are not moving. And I could set that percentage of time to 0, but that'll create weird things because these guys update on a timer, and if he isn't exactly done with his movement, then we're in for bad news. So what I really want to do, I don't think skipping stones are updated in lockstep the way that the lilies are. I want to check that. And if they're not, I just want to change the way that they propagate forward so that they propagate when they are done with their visual interpolation as opposed to on a timer. And that'll get rid of certain problems, robustness problems that we have anyway. Update skipping stones. Yeah, we just look for things that are skipping and we say, is time to next skip? And this is this error condition of like, oh, we're still moving, but you tried to do this, right? So if instead, let's just do it. We're going to make skipping stones not update this way anymore. Let me make sure my code base is completely committed. Yeah, sometimes if I haven't worked on this computer in a couple days, there's like old stuff and then it gets commingled with the new check-in. This frame control thing looks extremely useful. Yeah, I mean, being able to slow down or pause time in your game is so useful for in many ways. You need to be able to do it. Giving random streamers 50 bits. Wow, thank you. What are bits? Can I get 25 shaves and haircuts for that? Is that the same delay you see when players move multiple tiles in a row? Well, yes, except that players don't have that delay, right? So they only have that if I actually pause when I'm moving. So here I'm moving north, and you'll see she actually moves continually. It might have been a long time ago that there was a delay, maybe. But, you know, like I said, we're gradually moving off that whole system anyway. All right, so let's do it. Let's do it. So we have this time per skip. So we're going to completely get rid of time to next skip. We're going to deprecate it so that, you know, when we load things. Okay. We sort of have a problem. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. Let's do it. Let's try it. We're going to do what we need to do. Okay. So we're going to get rid of this logic. Okay. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of all that. We're going to get rid of that. Okay, visual interpolation. When we complete an interpolation, So this thing down here is for oh, I don't want to comment that. It's not really. Okay. For anything, let's do it down here. Do I still, yeah. Okay. If it's a rock, okay. I'm not quite sure this is the right place to do this, but if rock.skipping well, skip one stone. Well, all right, this duration is not going to be time per skip times 0.8 because that was intended to make that delay. And then, yeah, I guess we do this. All right. Okay, this is a problem. I did not think of this. This is a problem. So, right now, since we took away that skipping on a timer, and skipping just happens when you finish the previous skip, and the skip stays in your visual interpolation slot, that is all fine. However, oh, it might just work. So, however, right, if you can teleport a stone, it should keep skipping if it was already skipping, and in fact, the direction would modify, and in fact, we give it a little bit of an extra delay. We're not going to worry about the extra delay yet. Like it sort of, it hangs in the air for a little bit if you teleport it while it's skipping. Yeah. So I think this might work. Actually, we don't, yeah. Yep. All right, we'll see what happens. Elapsed. Da, da, da. All right. All right. Okay, we don't, right. So we were making this to destroy array, and, well, actually, let's do it. If we're doing it, we'll do it all the way. All right, skip one stone. Oops. Return true. Return false. Okay. This is all good. We skip one stone. We don't pass to destroy. We do say rock. All right. Who knows what's even going to happen? Dude, anything could happen. Oh, well, first of all, I don't even remember the level. It was some levels in. Wait, we went too far. This one. This is River Maze Redivert. So we're going to make that our startup. Okay. Well, it didn't continue. Oh, because I think we don't set skipping on this. I think we deleted the maybes. Let's call this maybe start skipping. I don't know why it didn't fall. Well, debug build. All right. Do I listen to Sufjan John Stevens? No. All right. We're not even getting there. Oh, it doesn't. No symbols have been loaded for this document. Bite me. Oh, we didn't compile. Oh, because I changed it to maybe start skipping. Well, at that point, it might just work, for all I know. Let's just see. Probably not, but it might. Nope. All right. Debugger. 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 Okay. Push. There we go. Evaluate splash. If it's a rock, can we start skipping? Delta. It is not supported. Okay. 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 Right. Okay. So maybe start skipping didn't actually make it start skipping, because that happened by that loop that we deleted. Like, I mean, it sets the variables, but it doesn't actually initiate the first move. So in maybe start skipping, All right. So maybe once we get the first one, it'll propagate after that. There we go. Look how much better that looks. It's not all jerky. Particles could be better, we admit, but so on some levels the skipping rate is slower, like you know, like this one. Oh, right. Yeah, so I think, whoops. It's just going to be annoying for me to get. I just wanted to push it. So like here. Yeah, so that rate is slower. The bounce could be higher now, I find. Let's go to the bounce. Visuals. Skip height. Let's go to O.2. It's a little much. 1.6. Alright, so we still have to test the teleportation thing. Spoilers for those of you who weren't on the stream when we designed this level. We didn't stop skipping. And we didn't keep skipping when we undid. So that's a problem. All right. Can't ship it yet. It like stops rotating. Oh, well, we want to call maybe stop skipping. All right. Okay, if we're skipping, I don't know why we weren't calling that in that loop. Like, who frickin' calls maybe stop skipping? Why do I have extra web browsers open? You know, I should have run a full test suite and seen how many fails there were and compare it to after this, but I didn't do that. Evaluate fall. I see. Okay. Hey. We should play a sound. All right. Whoops. So the undo thing is still an issue, of course. Why is this level... Oh, right. We actually want it to be like here. I thought we had more shifts in this. Well, anyway. Can you actually do it back here? And is it just real hard? Because if you can, I kind of want to edit that. Yeah, I don't think you can solve it back there. We might as well just do this for sake of cleanliness. So that you just can't really, you know, if you try to do it on this row now, it's like, that's just the same spot, right? But if you do this, now you could totally Ikaruga this thing's ass. I kind of feel like I want to put the exit even over there on the other side. Is that too much or is that good? Like, I kind of want to do it there. Because that's just even crazier. That's like... Wait, where was this? Oh, that's not the right spot. Duh, I'm not solving it correctly anyway. Someone should have told me that. So we were solving the game. Yeah, you know, this is the same thing right here. I'm going to put that square back. We were revising some code, and then I decided to tweak a level design just a little bit. And so you have to do this. Yeah. So that doesn't work well at all. In fact, you can't do that because, whoops, well now I can't do it because, yeah, same square in both universes, so I have to like do this, right? Oh, and then I forgot. Yeah, so this does have, I was like, I thought this level had more transitions, and it does. There we go. We just have to do this. There we Perfect. I know how to design levels. Okay. So that works. The whole reason we were doing that was to check if the teleport while moving works, and it does. So now it's just the undo thing, which hopefully is not that deep of a problem. So the undo system, I think, resets the movement of entities under the old assumptions that, like, you wanted to lock everything to squares between turns, but that creates exploits and weird things. So I think we want to save the visual interpolations of everything and restore them after the undo. And if we are not set up to do that, that may be a relatively large change, but we have to do that before we check this in. Oh, we got a raid, I guess. What are we up to here? Where's the raid? Lana Lux. Welcome, people. Welcome, people. We're making a game, and well, we are doing some graphical updates to the game. It's a puzzle game where you run around and move things around. It starts out as a deceptively simple block pushing game. You know, where you push some little crystals. But it rapidly gets much, much, much more intricate than that. And part of what's interesting about the game is surprising consequences that happen when different gameplay objects interact in a way that you would not expect. And, well, you know, we've had this game prototyped out for 2 years or something, and we've been slowly building it further and further into a real game that's releasable. And sometimes when you're doing that, you have to, like, tear down old stuff and build it back up, and that's what we are doing. So, what was it? Where were we? River Maze Redivert. So we've been working on these stones right now. What happens is you push them and they skip across the water, and you can do stuff with that. And so this works fine. But I broke a thing about skipping having to do with undo. You can undo in this game, right? Like if I make a mistake, like I pushed that mirror into the water and I needed it, I was like, oh, I can undo what I did, right? So here, if I do that and move around, if I undo some of my movements, the stone isn't skipping anymore. And so we have to fix that, which may be an easy fix or it may be a hard fix, depending on how deep the assumptions are that are baked in. But if it's a hard fix, it's a hard fix we had to do for other reasons anyway. So that's what we're working on right now. Let me get a tea and we'll continue. Good old green tea, give us some energy. You notice Skipping Stones, The Lonely Homes did not have perfect rewind. Really? How was it broken? How do I efficiently store all the undo data? It's not just positions that you have to record. It's any state variable about anything that matters. But if you think about how you would record positions, then you could just expand that to consider other variables. We do try to pack things together in a not totally stupid way, but we're also not that worried about being efficient because the amounts of data we're talking about are not huge. It's a lot less data than in another game I worked on called Braid, which, because it was real time expected to be 60 frames per second, it was piling up that position data a lot faster. And Braid did fine on computers of 10 years ago. So a turn-based game on computers of today will be much easier. And so The system here is a little bit similar to what happened in Braid, but a little bit different because it's return-based stuff. In the process of building the game up more, I imagine you've run into a series of compiler bugs. You tend to just work around them and not deal with them until you context switch. Well, so during the summer, we were probably running into a lot more compiler bugs than now. Now, I at least am able to program, and it's very stable. I only, once in a while I run into something weird. It's not very often. If we ran into something that was sufficiently bad, I would switch over and fix that. But really, for the most part, I'm just making the game and having a good time with it. We did run into a compiler bug the other day, and it wasn't that important. There was an easy workaround, and I just put it on the list to fix later. Okay, so when we do an undo, this post undo reevaluate thing gets called, and it does a lot of stuff. I'm not sure if it explicitly clears motion on anything. It must in some way. We reset animations on rocks. Dude, we don't even do that anymore. That doesn't matter. Okay, here we go. We reset visual interpolations on all entities. We don't want to do that. But we also want to make sure the undo system saves visual interpolations, which I don't remember if it does. We'll find out. We may have to add a bunch of things. Yeah, this is not right. This is not right. This is fine. This is fine. These are old assumptions that don't make sense anymore. So this might be something, by the way, that we're dealing with the fallout of all night. It might be hard. It might be easy. So I suspect it's going to still be broken, but in a different way. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's broken in the same way. I assume that's because when the undo system backs up the previous entity data, it does it by making a copy. And if we don't explicitly copy the visual interpolation data, wait, I'm suspicious of the fact that this is, wait, is it exactly on a square every time? It looks like it is. We don't have good ocean rendering right now, so yeah. See, it's snapping to squares. I suspect the undo system is doing that. So we have a fair bit of updating to do. Yeah, so like we set something's visual position to be the same as its position. That's no good, actually. That's no good. A lot of things here are no good. Okay. So we are going to have to save the position gets put in this undoable entity data. See, this totally separate simplification that I had wanted to do was to get rid of the difference between position and visual position. But because we haven't done that yet, we have to correct this and continue going. All right, I'm just checking out chat, reading chats. Yeah, so we want to put visual position in here. We want to put the whole visual interpolation in there. Okay. Right now, these are not serialized at all. And we have to. We have to do it. Okay. Well, let me look at this visual interpolation. Like, this has a lot of stuff on it. And some of it we don't need because, like, is falling, we don't do falling with visual interpolation anymore. Or do we? We do those one square falls. Some of these fields are not necessary. Some of them are. Most of them we want to record. So we're going to check if this is -1 or not. Undoable data. I'm a little bit worried. So when we're scanning an entity, this is like detecting whether this is a thing that we care about. Since we save visual interpolations now, we need to save any entity. Ugh. Dude, programming is hard sometimes. It's hard. So this thing puts everything necessary to reconstruct the entity in there. Actually, let me just do this. Okay. Okay. Since we store and retrieve visual interpolation data, now we need to boy, this is going to be a big change. We need to store, we need to sometimes I don't know how to use my words to describe what's going on. We need to check whether an interpolation is active. If so, we assume it's different and need to pack this thing. Okay, if b.visual interpolation start time, that means an interpolation is active. If it is, now we're going to do this whole thing that we do for the base entity, all right? But now it's on visual interpolation. And we're going to record visual position on the visual interpolation. And that's going to be annoying. It's going to be annoying. Okay. So we need to tell it. We need to tell it that we're packing something. Result is true if we have a start time at all. And how's it going? Do people have any clue what I'm doing right now, or is this just a lost cause? Brain hurt. You don't like to think? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Okay. So this is a bigger change than I thought I was signing up for, but you know what? This is good because maybe we'll have it mostly polished up by tomorrow when I wanted to do some other visual stuff. Okay. This is not base entity metadata. This is, we're going to say visual interpolation metadata. So it's a whole other metadata that we need to make. List index dot visual interpolation. I mean, maybe we should just put the visual interpolation on the base entity. The thing is, it doesn't, we don't have a concept of we could add that though. We could add it. We could, yeah, you know what? We're going to do that. We're going to, dude, we're going to make such a big mess. We're going to put this stuff on undoable entity data. And this is huge. Okay, this is going to be version 11. Version 11. We're going to go back here, upgrade that to 11. Now, we're going to tag this as, well, okay. We're getting rid of this situation. We're going to say okay, if it's the visual interpolation, ooh, how do I do this without making it a super bad hack? What I want to do is say, okay, if the start time on this is -1, then do all the fields of the visual interpolation. Otherwise, do not. And the problem is this thing is not looking at the struct, it's looking at the leaf items. But we can have a flag that we propagate. Oh, it's such a mess. I'm going to go back to doing it the old way. I thought this was going to be better. Maybe it would be, but I don't exactly see it. All right, we're doing it this way. Okay, so slots differ. Grr. Assert is plain old data. Item.info. Okay. If we need to copy, we do this. Okay. Actually, what are we even doing? It's plain old data, bro. We just just do it. We do it live. Okay. So, that's fine. But we still need to pack these into the undo record. If b.visual, right. Else pack false byte to indicate we are not saving a visual. I'm really doing this in a highly nonlinear fashion today. So pack a true byte to indicate we are indeed saving a visual interpolation, right? So put builder cast u8 1, put builder cast u8 0. Okay. Now we could just memcopy into the buffer, except of course we're trying to be cross-platform and all these good things. So we pack it. So okay, so we pack that into the buffer, and then after we've done all this, we need to do the visual position. So visual position.x coord size. So now we have to pack the visual position because that's not part of the visual interpolation struct, because that's just how it is. So we have to pass slot a visual position x, slot b visual position x, coord size. Dot x dot y dot x dot z. Okay, so that's something. We're going to have to do the reverse of this when we unpack an entity. And in fact, if we don't handle this leading byte, nothing's going to work at all in the undo system. Actually, let's do this. Because we're adding a lot of things. We're still not going to compile yet because we have this other metadata that we need to create and all this stuff. But I'm going to pack 0 no matter what. So when we unserialize, we're just going to peel off this extra byte for now and throw it away because it's always going to be 0. Yeah, one thing at a time, man. And we won't even do this yet. But we will eventually. So Apply diff. Okay. S.count is greater than or equal to 1. The first byte tells us whether this has an active visual interpolation. Packing. Okay. Well, okay. There we go. Advance S by 1. Okay. So now to get this to compile, we just need to define these other metadatas. All right. We're going to version this because in theory we'll be saving this in save files eventually. Hopefully it gets a lot better by then. Oh my God. Okay. Even this velocity stuff shouldn't be no serialize in my opinion. All right, this should though. Okay. Okay. Now, I thought this was going to be a fun, highly visible graphic stuff stream, and it's turned into a deep manipulation of core things stream. Okay. Okay, oops. What do we use imported from base entity for? I think I know. Okay. Well, okay, yeah. Okay. We're going to make such a mess. So we make this metadata. Is that the only thing that we use as base entity for? Yeah, so we don't do that. Okay. We have a problem. I guess we don't have that big of a problem. The visual position, which I started doing manually, probably really does need to go on the entity. And again, that's not a long-term concern since we're going to get rid of it eventually, but yeah. So this thing here is going to go on undoable entity data, and that is going to be 11. Wait, what? I screwed up. This thing goes here. Doesn't it? Now I'm going stir crazy. Now I'm not sure if my edits were wrong or I'm confused about my edits being wrong. So let's diff this. Okay, yes. Okay, that used to be on entity and it now still is. Okay. We moved it a little bit. That shouldn't matter. $18. All right. Okay. So now the thing in serialize that we were editing, we were down here doing this, and we're not gonna do it anymore. We're not gonna do it. See, sometimes you just type code and then you just delete that code again. What? Hold on, there was an enum that we needed to do. Oh, because we commented this out. Right, okay. Not bad. So we still had one occurrence of this, imported from base entity, which frankly imported from visual interpolation. Base entity revision. Okay. If the file version is greater than or equal to 16, all sorts of places for us to make mistakes here. Imported from from, not ROM. This is not an illegal ROM hacks site. All right. Dude, I don't even know. The most probable outcome is I hit undo and we crash. Hey, we didn't crash. How awesome is that? We got to fix that. Skipping off the edge. All right, well, we have a mostly functional game still. We haven't actually done any real work yet because I commented out that part of it that was real work, but we like pushed it forward. We pushed it forward. Okay. I kind of want a warm drink. This cold drink isn't doing it for me. So let me heat up some tea water. Are there any questions about what I'm doing right now while we boil the water? And then the next step in what we're doing will be to actually start packing that visual interpolation data into the undo data and then retrieving it back. Although we are now packing the visual position in theory. Although undo might be resetting it. Okay, questions? Any questions? Questions? I don't see any questions. You got to address them to me. Why did you remove the eye tracker? Because it's annoying to set up, and I feel like it's probably more distracting than useful. I don't know. What kind of data structure is used for the undo system? What do you mean? That's a question that doesn't really make sense. Data structure for what? What are you talking about? The answer is probably there isn't a data structure in the way that you're thinking, because I don't know what you're asking. iTracker gave you a headache because of those similar editor and tracker backgrounds. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to make it not totally distracting. That's why it was kind of faded out. But, you know, I think the good version of that involves editor integration and not a dot moving around. It's hard to know how you can improve. Most people improve at whatever they practice. That's it. Right? If you practice hitting a tennis ball with a racket, you'll get a lot better at it. There's no mystery. You may not be the best player in the world, depending on how much of that is talent and stuff, but you'll get a lot better at it. I ate so much junk food today. I woke up this morning and was like, I'm going to be a healthy eater today. And that really is not what has happened. I did eat a salad though, so it all evens out. Yeah, the turns right now are basically recorded on player moves. Yep. Yeah, and so it used to be when we store and undo, if there was a stone sort of skipping between two squares, when we saved your turn, it would essentially get popped to the square that it came from and restarted. And that actually messes up timing a little bit, you know? Like if you do an undo, you get more time or whatever, which isn't cool. So we're just gradually making the game more robust about all these kinds of things. When I was working at a certain game company in 2002 to 2003, there was a programmer there who drank several Diet Cokes a day. I never saw evidence that it helped him with weight, but maybe if he drank non-Diet Cokes, it would be worse. I don't know. Although there have been research papers lately that say that diet sodas are just as bad for you in terms of obesity and general propensity of your body to accumulate fat as non-diet sodas. So that's interesting. Okay. Okay, let's just make sure that doesn't crash us. Oh, is pod. Really? Oh, reflection.ispod. So now, if we try to rewind now, we will crash because we don't handle that situation. Okay. Ugh. All right. Expected a constant type here, but got something else. Oh yeah, size of okay. Hopefully we can move around, but I don't dare undo. If I undo now, bad things are going to happen. I'm going to do it. Oh God, wait, what? Oh, because we didn't change it to 1. See, we're still packing a 0 here. Oh, but that should have screwed things up. What is going on? I'm not convinced that this code is running because it should have hosed us there when I tried to rewind. Yeah, no, this is not working. Why not? Sound, exclamation point. What does that mean? Yeah, deal with your shit. Don't complain to me, man. It's not ever saying packed. Why not? Do I have this backwards? Entities differ. Okay. I'm like, what? How are we frickin'? I don't know what's going on. So we want to break in entities differ. Undo. Oh no, it's in serialize, serialize. I mean, we're not going to hit that. Well, we hit that. That's our old breakpoint for the other thing we were doing. So like, bro, I don't understand this at all. So I guess we're not getting there from scan for changed entities. Pending actions should be creations and destructions. Dude, my mouse is running out of battery again. It's always running out of battery these days. Am I ever setting the visual interpolation on the entity? Well, yes, that's how it moves. Too loud. Turn down your volume. Whoops. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the only place that we record a change, right? Let's look for that. Thanks, Visual Studio. Like, what? Just decided to indent me there. All right. All right. Okay. E. Okay, I know what's, I bet what's happening is, well, let's not bet too hard. We should have at least one entity with a visual interpolation. Okay, this one is stopped, so it's probably the character. Let's check the mesh. Castaway. That's the character. Okay, another one. Now we get our break point. What? Am I failing to recompile correctly sometimes tonight? I feel like this is... I've been so confused from this. Now we frickin' print packed. Dude, what is going on tonight? All right, well... I am not sure. Maybe it's a compiler bug. Look at all these frickin' items, dude. Visual interpolations are huge. This is why I went through all this effort. Damn, bro. So many. All right. Well, there goes that mystery. Oh, right. We would have only recorded that. I understand what's happening. It was fine. Oh, are we infinite looping? What's going on? Sleeping? Things get weird sometimes. I understand. We only record the case that would break us if the character moves while the stone is moving, right? Because regular undos, we're only saving them after the move is complete, so we don't invoke that code. But if I kick this off and then move several times, now it's gonna, see, we got all these packed exclamation points. Now as soon as I hit undo, we're gonna crash, right? Bam! That is what I wanted to happen 10 minutes ago, and I was just confused. But that's okay. Sometimes we're confused, and then we have to unconfuse ourselves. All right, it is working as expected. We asserted, and the reason we inserted is because we read this one and we didn't know how to handle it. Right here. Okay. Assert it's 1, and then we handle it. Is pods. Okay. Item.info.runtime size and advance is. Why didn't I just paste this? Okay. And then dest. Well, that's the metadata slot. Dest is we've got to apply forward or apply backward. Bro. Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. If we're applying forward, we could just do this actually. It's slower, but whatever. Discard one field, undeclared identifier. Okay. I see how you're doing this. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to move these local things to there. All right. Now who knows what's going to happen? Okay, well, I'm undoing, and the thing is not moving, but we're not dying of corrupted data. So this is fine. It's a lot better than it could have been. Okay, so now I bet in the undo system we're doing all sorts of stuff where we're resetting the visual interpolation, like here, and we're setting the visual position. Like screw that, screw that, screw that. Okay. Now we'll see what happens. Oh, that was weird. I hear it skipping. We didn't get all the data. Received a non-cardinal direction 00. Okay, so that was a bummer. But something happened. I mean, what? Something happened. What do you want, man? Well, that's a very strange one. Because, like, is the visual position not getting copied? I mean, we put it there. It says version 11 in undoable entity data, the version of which is 11. That's not for now. That's a concern for later. Well, it's probably something to do with the old entities and all that. Let's just print out we're just going to do that. Let's just see if that part broke. Not sure why it would, but you know, that's what we're doing, is narrowing it down. Hey, look, that's okay. So undo, undo. We're never okay. Create old entity. It's never giving us, what do we call this? When we created something, okay, we don't need that. Mark beginning. Or when we're doing it, undo, and we're undoing a creation or destruction. None of those apply to what is happening right now. Let's try this. We're just getting information. We're just reconnaissancing. Reconnaissancing. Okay. So we did an undo. Ah, look how giant this struct is and how not well indented. Oh my God, look at these values. These are terrible. These are terrible. What is with these? Can I even trust this information? What is going on? We could just set a breakpoint there. Oh God. People. I'm such an amateur hour guy. Look, there's this 1 byte that means that this is our values. Let's skip the 1 byte before we decode the rest of the frickin' data. You know what happens when we don't skip the 1 byte. It's bad mojo. Look at that. I'm rewinding. Measured in Planck seconds. Yeah. Yeah. GG's. No rees. Okay, that was a little weird. No, I think. Wait. Okay, that's not right. Like the last, like here. Why are we frickin' down there? It's because it didn't have a visual interpolation and the old one did. So like if we don't have a visual interpolation and the old one does, we also need to say, I was wondering about that. I don't know if that's exactly this problem, but so if this is greater than or equal to 0 or frankly, anytime either of these guys has activity, let's not do this, please. We don't need that. We don't need that. We never needed it. We never used it. It was just sad. Sad. Okay. Okay. It looks like it's behaving better. You know what that means? Party at my place. Party at my place. So now I'm going to compile a release build, and we're probably going to find out that I screwed up some things real bad. Because that's just how these things go. Any questions about what we did? All right. Let's just see how brutally bad this is. I don't know what I broke. This is a really fundamental change. It's the kind that makes a mess. I'm turning that down a little bit. Why is it so loud? Why is it so quiet? So we would expect some fails due to weird timing and stuff, and fails from before of about at least 25 that we never fixed. So we're just going to let this go for a while. What changed that necessitated this work? Well, we've been needing to do this for a while for other reasons, but the thing that sort of forced it, oh, that was bad. The thing that sort of forced it now was, let's not spoil everything, that I was changing the way that the skipping stones happen. And they used to happen by having their own timer and deciding to move every time the timer ticked down to 0. But we changed it so that they just happen, the next skip off the water happens when the previous visual interpolation completes. But that means that if you ever did an undo and a stone was skipping across the water, the visual interpolation got wiped out, so the stone would stop skipping, right? So we had to change that. But it's one of these steps on the way to making the game more robust. We needed to do it no matter what. We've got like at least 25 new levels since the last time I ran this on stream. We're going to go so far past dangerous business unless a lot of levels fail, which they might. We have so many levels now. I made 7 new levels today. Today. Time to add a new song. It might be. I don't know what the new song is. Except maybe Freedom Costs $1.05, but that's not a very long song. Freedom costs $1.05. Have I ever mentioned like doing something like custom levels on the Steam Workshop? I don't think we would use the Steam Workshop if we did custom levels. We would just build our own system because I'm not sure what we get from Steam unless you want to do real money microtransactions, which I don't think we want to do with this game. Ode to Joy, that could work. But it would have to be like a video game version of Ode to Joy. Or the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Still going. Whoops, I should have run the tests before, but I didn't. Rate and tip my Uber Eats driver. You get a tip, bro. That level was broken before, I think. Da, 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 da. Do do and do. Do do. Do do do. Do do and do. Do do and do. Telling the truth can be bad news. You weren't patient enough to find a server. Yeah, I heard it was a disaster today. With like things being down all day and do 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 do.
Telling the truth can be bad news. Telling the truth can be bad news.
Telling the truth can be
telling the truth can be
good news.
Telling the truth is a bad idea. Telling the truth is a difficult problem. Telling the truth is a scary. Telling the truth is a scary predicament. Telling the truth is a bitter herb. Telling the truth is a dangerous tunnel. When you get out of that tunnel, it's a black life ahead. Forget herb. I never heard of a hit that had the word herb in it. Telling the truth is a dangerous.
Dangerous.
Telling the truth can be
Dangerous what?
Danger. Telling the truth can be danger. Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Why?
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 Why? Telling the truth can be dangerous business because if yourself, you don't know why. Huh? Well, I'm just giving you what the idea is. Telling the truth can be dangerous business. If you don't know yourself, then you don't know why.
Oh, is that brilliant?
Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Honest and popular don't go hand in hand. If you admit that you can play the accordion, no one will hire you in a rock and roll band. But we can't sit.
Uh-oh. We're stalling. We're stalling. Oh, man. I remember this happened before, though. Didn't we have a really long stall last week? Yeah. Oh, we're processing some textures. That's what happened. See, we're like compressing textures and crap. People are starting to work on islands. So, you know, we're going somewhere. Oh, more texture compressions. We're working on it. We're working on the game. That island was like Desert Camo Island. Dude, we're so far into the frickin' test. Oh, that's a new level I made yesterday. That's an old level. That's a new level I made. I know that level. Wait, why is it missing stuff? Oh. I don't think that has anything to do with what I did today, but... Bro, we need a new song, all right? We need a new song. Any indication of release date? No, we don't know. We have to get a lot closer to finished before we would announce a release date. Mountain King, yeah. I don't know. Some people who visit this stream might have Mountain King post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay. So we failed about 37 levels. We'll investigate this a little bit. I'm not really, that could just be due to timing again. I wish I had done a fail check beforehand, but I didn't. See, we have more levels succeeded than last time. We just also have more failed. Okay. Island Friends failed. Really? Oh, let's check that one. That's a simple level. It might just be. Doesn't look like anything bad happened. Because of yourself, you don't know why. Whoops. Oh, is that brilliant? Okay. Whoops. I think I want to do this. And then there. It's been forever since I played this level. And then she can do some dangerous business. Right? And then he can go. Bam. Uh-oh. How do I do this? Oh, like this. Easy. Easy. That's solvable. That could be timing. Let's just record it. Solving Island Friends is dangerous business. Honest and popular don't go. Oh. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And, you know, I think we might have skipped this lower island maybe if we wanted to, but it's okay. It's okay. So now, what do? I go here and there. All right, Island Friends was, that could easily have been timing. Wait, Ikaruga failed? Oh, that could be timing too. Oh my God, okay. Ikaruga, we gotta make Ikaruga. That's a new level. Test. Went way past the end of the recorded. We just tested this one at the beginning of the stream. All right. Whoops. I screwed up the actual solution. Oh, I still screwed it up. All right. I think it's timing. Because our janky butt timing from before, because remember, well, I don't know. We probably still have weird timing because I think when we teleport, we're snapping to the target square. And so we're losing velocity in that case as well. Yeah, I don't know. It looked a little weird. But You know, these levels aren't actually broken. It's like the replay is broken, which I'm fine with. So I'm going to try a few more. If they all seem like timing that I try, then we're just going to be fine with it. Stone Cross, that's one of mine. Okay, what do we do here? Do I remember? We go lair. Oh! That is an actual breakage. So this stone, when we pushed it, it's supposed to start up this lily pad. And that doesn't happen anymore. And that's very bad. That would be expected to break many levels. Well, not an infinite number of levels or anything, but several. And that's just that when we called stop skipping, we have to do see, this doesn't totally make sense to me here. I feel like all this should be okay, like that. I think that falling case doesn't make sense anymore. Undeclared identifier supporter. Right. I meant to do it there. I meant to do it there. Honest and popular. What level was that? Stone Cross. All right. This is fixed. Well, we're going to run us a whole new release build now. Let's see how many levels that fixed. And maybe this is broken. Like, we don't even do anything with this if supported. I'm going to make a note of that. Support cleanup. We're not going to change the code yet because we're changing a lot of things. Oh, you know what? I also want to look at that level. What's it called? In Heroes and Mirrors, one of my new levels. Is it Mirror Non-Magic Bounce? Because it was missing some blocks. It worked anyway, because I think the level was marked. The ground was marked. Mirror Non-Magic Bounce. Is that which one? Yeah. Okay, this ugly ass thing. Yeah, see, it's... I must have had a source control issue. But there we go. We're fixing it. We're fixing it, people. Oh, I should test that to make sure I shouldn't have screwed anything up, but let's try it. Wait, row I just saved it. That must not be the problem. Oh, you know what? The level is too small. Let's check it. Load mirror non-magic bounce. Load failed. Oh, dude, we might have broken the editor with our undo changes. That is quite possible. Failed to load this. Oh, so we added this revision number. Oh, we changed the format and we did the loading, right? We added this, but we didn't change the part that saves it. Now that doesn't explain why those blocks weren't there in the first place, but it does explain why the new blocks that I put there didn't show up and are failing to load. Because we need to do this. And we didn't. We did increment the file version, and we just didn't write that member in there. See? See, we messed something up. All right, so run tree data levels. What was it called? Mirror non-magic bounce. Revert, 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 revert again, because tortoise is lame. Okay, so we fixed that problem. Mirror non-magic bounce. Start again. Oh wait. Did we didn't compile. Let's not forget to compile. Made it here from Tim's stream. Who is Tim? Who is Tim? All right, let's try this again. Let's try this again. Reset, test. Spoilers. So many spoilers. So many spoilers. Okay. Release build. Let's check in those levels. Re-record a couple of tests. Okay. And you know what time it is. It's not business time, it's question time. Because we're just running this thing again. It's question time. Game Development Underground. I don't really know that stream, but I probably should. what's somebody paste the link into chat, and then I will do a follow and I can see it when it's up. It wasn't always by accident on that show, let's be fair. Although usually. You know it's a very short amount of time till somebody starts an internet petition to get me kicked off the internet because I play the Benny Hill theme song when testing my game. In fact, there will be a campaign to boycott this game because even though during release the Benny Hill theme song was not in it, during development it was, and this shows that I'm an unethical game developer who doesn't care about anyone. That's about where we're at. Did Matt tell me about the editor crash from Wednesday? I don't know. It might have been somebody else's thing, though. It might have been a mesh thing that Ignacio was working on. Now that the game has a substantial size, what are the compile times like? Well, they're getting longer. They're like 1.3 or 1.4 seconds, but that's not how long they really should be. It's just because we haven't gone in. Like, you know, any compiler like this has a number of super linear pieces of code that are in there, and just one or two of those are taking up all this time, and we could optimize them out and it would go much faster again. We just haven't done it yet. So it should still be under 1 second. It's not right now. When I go back to working on the compiler, we'll push it under 1 second again. Okay, thanks for the link. Yeah, everybody who has ever visited this stream and heard the Benny Hill song is tainted and is part of the patriarchy. So sorry, you just have no place in the future. Now it's even worse. Every second that you listen to this, it's worse. Just a mean, angry white man now. Oh my God. You know the worst thing is the monk debates. If you see the newer monk debates, they have like a intro video of here's how cool the monk debates are. And they have that frickin' quote in their intro video now. It's like you took the stupidest, worst ad hominem attack and you put it into a sequence trying to show how civil and cool your debate show is. It's like, what summer intern decided to do that? It was the worst thing, man. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's a new level. I don't want to be spoilered on that. That's one of Matt's new levels. It must be, because I've never seen it. I shouldn't say summer intern that way because our summer interns have been good. Well, we've only had one summer intern, and she was great. And now we have a non-summer intern, so I can't really say summer intern the way that I used to. So. Yeah, so we have had no bad interns, right, out of two. So that's a good track record, I think. I don't know. Your local chapter of super secret weekly patriarchy meetings that you go to play this song before scheming, right? And then when they start scheming, it's in fast motion, right? Or they play the song while scheming in fast motion, like I'm running around. Not this song, though. Previous song. Although this song is part of the patriarchy also, I'm sure, because it's from the 1970s. And everything from the 1970s, you know, everything from the 1970s is basically hate speech. So, good luck with that. Especially bell bottoms, man. Dude, this song is hate speech. He says black life ahead in a negative sense in the middle of the song. Never mind that he doesn't mean it racially. It could be a microaggression.
Telling the truth can be good news. Telling the truth is a bad idea. Telling the truth is a difficult problem. Telling the truth.
See, everything is problematic at some point.
Is a scary. Telling the truth, a scary predicament. Telling the truth is a bitter herb. Telling the truth is a dangerous tunnel.
When he says forget herbs,
it's a black life
here.
ahead. Forget herb. I never heard of a hit that had the word herb.
When he says that, he's denigrating the Native Americans and their indigenous ways of knowing of what herbs to use when and how important that was. He's not acknowledging the importance of herbs in tribal society. And he can only do that because of his white privilege, right? He can only do that because, you know, he never had to live off the herbs. So it's just a very patriarchal line. You know, you can't say that line because it's you know, it erases people's existence, really, is what we're saying. So all right, well, here's the thing. We haven't named this game officially lately, but the working title is the Sokoban game, and Sokoban is a Japanese word meaning warehouse keeper, and that's cultural appropriation, for sure. For sure. It's so cultural appropriation, dude. This looks broken. Yeah. That was probably timing. Although we shouldn't have changed the timing of Rovers, but I think that one was already broken. Oh my god, what the frickin' frack happened to that one? That was one of my levels. Time levels are hard though, because like changes to animation settings can break the recordings. Like all sorts of stuff can break the recordings. What's for dinner? I'm finishing up. It was a poke bowl of a little bit of fish and a lot of rice and some seaweed salad. And now there's just basically some brown rice left and some wasabi. I'm having brown rice and wasabi for dinner. Am I getting a bit sick of San Francisco? Yes. However, all the fun things that I like to do are here as well. So, you know, I don't know. I really wish I was not running a software company in San Francisco, though. It's so expensive. Hey, we're down to 30 levels. Okay. So let's look at a few more of these. So we fixed 2 manually, and 5 more were fixed by that bug fix. Wheels within wheels. That is, I don't know. That has lilies in it, but not necessarily. So let's try that one. What's happening here? Okay. Look like it succeeded to me, bro. Every time I try it. What's going on? Okay. A little spurious fail. What's wrong with this level? Guy just didn't walk to the exit. What? Oh, I bet, like, I think I re-recorded this one lately and I didn't record a time test and it has falling. Let's, recording timed tests is a difficult problem. Okay, so now how do I do this situation? I don't remember. I think thief has to stay up top. Oh, right. Right. So I actually changed one of the rules. That wasn't why this failed, but uh-oh. That's an exploit right there that I have to fix. Okay. This one's going to break later when we fix the undo, but all right. I actually like that level better with the rule change. Okay. Stone redirection. We got to look at these skipping levels to see if the problem is timing or not. Oh, this one. Whoa. Okay. That is a bug. That is a bug. It's trying to enter the square. It is not for some reason. It's getting, there's this thing called foreign entity occupies square. And that is getting tripped for some reason. Even though I kind of don't think it should be. Like, that turtle ought to just be able to slide right onto the other turtle and have turtle belly to belly situation. Ain't happening though. So let's see what's going on there. I don't know if I'm debug building, so. Oh no, we were release building. Okay, so let's try that one. Stone redirection. And so in visual interpolation is where that is. That's an old breakpoint that we don't care about. Okay. So why is it saying foreign entity? Let me load this into the... We don't copy the flip data and stuff, but... so this guy is in this under... Oh, the note! I added this note. I bet it's bouncing off the note. Yep. Leaving a note is a difficult problem. It's a good feeling when you want to make a game instead of play a game. All right, that is fixed. Skipper friends. This is probably timing. All right. Let's try this. So, Skipper friends. So we want to pull that out of the Bard's radius. She comes over, gets it. Okay, she goes there. Spoilers. Boom. Spoiler. Whoops. Sorry, buddy. We still have to fix that animation problem. Yeah, this was just timing. Okay. Okay, good news. Skip perp. Is this my level? This doesn't look like my level, but it sounds like one of my level names. Who else would say perp? No, it's Maya's. Maya. Oh, that's just timing. I'm not going to worry about it. He just didn't get off the lily in time. And if I fix that, it's going to break again in a few days when we do the rest of the movement thing. Through beam wrapping. This one's mine. That's probably timing for sure. Oh, the stone didn't sink. Not timing. It's sunk that time. Why is it being drawn too high? Oh. Here's the camera angle. Why is it... Why did it not sync? Oh, it did. Maybe this is just timing. Let me see if I can get off on it. No, we're getting foreign entity occupies square. Wait, we did. All right. Yeah, that's just timing. Okay. Timing. Clone flying. Does this even have skipping stones? No. Why'd this one break? Whoa, buddy. Let's record this. Okay, does this one work? Spoiler, this level is so cool. All right. That was, I don't know what caused this breakage. It was something weird. All right. Endpoint suspend directions swapper. That's a recent one. It's from like, we did this on stream like last week or something. Well, she fell down. Yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with what we're doing now. That's other stuff that'll get more robust. Sort of looking through these, I don't really see. Oh, infinite through beam wrapping. Oh no, that's the one we just did. Loading docks. The hell? Bro, we like just made this level. All right. Oh, I probably didn't record a timed test. This is supposed to be sort of a early level to help educate you. Well, not early, mid game. All right. Da 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 da. Yeah. All right. All right. Gem River Orange 3 Skyfall Interruption Midpoint Friends. Yeah, no skipping stones here. All right, I'm going to call that done for this. I mean, eventually we have to have 0 fails, of course, but again, all these are failed due to tweaky timing stuff that's going to change when we get more robust. So, yeah. Big, scary change involving... oh, right. You would expect a lot of the lily pads to fail now. Or levels with falling to fail, because we're now recording and restoring the visual position, which means if you undo while someone's falling or while a lily's moving, the restored position will be different than it was. Yeah. So that explains probably a lot of the fails. Like a lot of these are like falling with endpoint beams and stuff. Big, scary change involving undo system and visual interpolation saving could have real bad results. So far, it's doing alright though. Oh, cultural appropriation. All right, we got that done. When we started doing it, I was like, this could be hairy and scary, and we might not even get it done tonight, but we did. We did. Checking out the chat. Yeah, when you see a level that's cubes, it's that's not how the game's actually going to look. That's level mock-ups. So, oh, we fixed that one level missing block, so I can cross that off. We have here support cleanup, right? There was some code that I was going to delete. So we're going to delete that code, and we're just going to rerun the tests again in another release build. Oh, wait. We do say return false. That's fine. Oh, yeah. We do need that. Never mind. I said we don't do anything with it, but we do. We do that. Okay. So one thing that I want to do now is I want to fix the gimpy player motion that's been driving me nuts, but I don't want to do that tonight. That's too big. Or at least it's just, yeah, it's too far reaching. You know, let's do something simple. Like I was saying, hey, we should make a sound effect when a stone stops skipping because it lands on the ground. We could do that. Could do that. Right? What's a good level? I mean, some of the levels I was doing today. What are some of the levels I was doing today? What are they called? I mean, general stones. Level sets general stones. Retrieve boomerang. Launch and clone. We could do Ikaruga actually, because that it's very easy to push a stone. Actually, stone redirection. Why did I even look? Stone redirection, right? I can just start. Yep. Let me crank this. Dude, Windows audio volume makes no sense anymore. From like 50 to 100, it goes from quiet to super loud. Okay. So when it lands on the land there, I want to have a sound. All right. Now, these sounds, of course, are also going to be redone later by professional sound people, but we want the code hook in there and we want to know that it works. Also, I don't have any good sound libraries downloaded onto this machine. That would not be the right. That would not be right. We can use that. So, I mean, not yet. We're gonna pull it in here. Gonna cut off the beginning. I'm gonna low pass filter the hell out of this. We like don't want it to sound. Actually. let's actually, let's really low pass. Okay, let's copy it. How do I copy? Paste new. All right, great. Filter, low pass, real low. This is going to be awful. Pitch. Here, let's actually, let's do pitch first, because we can retain. I don't know. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. No, no. Pitch. Min. Pitch. Min. Actually, I kind of like that crunch sound that we inadvertently got. Sounds almost like a cannon shot. Set finish marker. Volume, fade out. This is going to be a really crappy effect, but like I said, we don't care. We so don't care. Guys, this sucks. I should have just, yeah. I don't even want to put this in the game, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Okay, save as. Stone stops skipping. Stone stops skipping. I'm going to add that. And then we got to go to the code. And maybe stop skipping. So we want to make a separate noise if it lands on a lily pad, which I think we used to do, but we may not anymore. And if we don't get a different noise, we'll say play sound rock, comma, what did we just freaking call it? Stone stop skipping. Stop skipping. Okay, greatest sound effect you ever heard coming up. Coming right up. Of course, it's not even going to be loaded. We're going to take a frame hit while we load it. It's like we actually want to play it earlier than we do, because like you want to play it as you're entering the square, not when you stop moving there. But you know what? We're not going to do that tonight, Because again, that'll be easier as we rearrange our movement code structurally further. Yeah, the reason there's delay is because we are playing the sound when we finish skipping onto the middle of the square and then are deciding whether to skip or not to the next square, which is way too late, right? You want to hear it as it starts scraping across the thing. And so we would need to detect it at the start of a skip. We could do that, though. We could do that. We could do that. Let's see. So when we decide to skip, in skip one stone, we'll see if it's supported. Okay, so we say supported and supporter equals is supported rock at new position if it's going to be supported. Make a sound that it's scraping onto the target surface unless it's a lily. Leave that for later. Okay. If it's a lily, we do that. Else, we do that. All right. That is compile time. Entity type. Attempt to dereference a supporter. Supporter. Spell it right. Spell it right. You don't always have to spell it right. Whoa. Haha, we're playing it all the time, even if we're not supported. If supported, I can program. I went to program school. I took a correspondence program. All right. So now we say stone stop skipping. We'll play that at a volume of 0.6, random volume of 0.2, and 2 semitones. Whoops, I didn't have to restart for that, but I did anyway. How am I handling messaging between entities? There is no such thing as messaging between entities. All that stuff is bullshit. I don't do things that way. Now, if anything, it's playing a little early. Do I have a pre-delay? I think I do. Pre-play silence. Okay. Where was that just? Oops, not colon. That's not a place for a colon. If only we had channels and my entities could message each other. Oh, it's so true. Wouldn't the stop skipping sound play multiple times? I think we're cutting off because of our pre-play silence isn't done. If I put more pre-play silence, I bet that's a problem. Wouldn't the stop skipping sound play multiple times? Why? It might play if we start skipping onto a supporter and then the supporter isn't there when we get there. That's probably a very rare case, and we can then check that and kill the sound after you start playing it or something. Yeah. So our sound is getting killed. We got to fix that. The hell's it called now? Can someone put it in game? The hell is it? What are you guys doing? What are you doing to my modules? Sound. Oh, I renamed it. That's what happened. It was a while ago. Okay. Pre-play. This isn't implemented how I thought it was. Silent samples at start of play. So so in Braid we do this thing where we manually how do we know when to kill a sound? All right. Okay. Okay, so schedule for, there we go. For every sound, yes, my lifetime. I see. So I think I am expected. Where was our thing that we were playing the sound in? Was that in visual interpolation, right? Yeah. Oh no, it's in skip one stone. Yeah. Okay, here silence is 0.5. We actually have to jack the I think I just decided I didn't want to wrap that way back when. Way too much pre-play silence, but the point of that was that we were testing. Well, that's good. We found a problem that we didn't know about. If you don't use messaging, how do you handle interactions between entities? Well, the generic idea of interactions between entities doesn't make sense. So what I would ask you for is, or I don't think it's a good way to conceptualize. So what I would ask you for is an example, like what is a specific interaction that you would like me to explain how I do, and then I can explain it. 0.15 is still too much. Can go will only return true supporter for one frame. No, it'll return that for multiple frames, but this code is not called every frame. This is called when we initiate a new movement from one square to another. That's when skip one stone is called. It's not called every frame. You can tell because we play the stone skip sound at the top of the routine, right? If this got played every frame, we would be in a bad place, believe me. Better. Good enough for now. Ship it. Fix. Oh, no, we didn't fix anything. Add. Awful sound effect, but it's there. Can you also pitch random? Yes, we did pitch random, in fact. In those two numbers in the sound tweaks were random volume and pitch. Why is there a slight delay when you do the first 3 or 4 moves? It's because this is not the release version of the game, we're not preloading animations and sounds. And not only are we not preloading them, but we're loading them from often, well, not sounds, but animations are being loaded from a very inefficient text format that takes a lot more time to load than the binary format would. So, you know, it's just a thing that you live with as a developer. That's what's going on there. But even, you know, in the release build, the delay is much smaller. But in the shipping game, it won't be there at all. Shouldn't the mirror image of the stone move the other direction? I don't think so. We've thought real hard about this. Do you mean, oh, I guess you mean orthogonally to the mirror? Like that? What I would say about that is, if you imagine a point, right? Imagine a point here at the middle of this square and where it would bounce to, right? It would bounce off the middle of the mirror to some point at the middle of a square here, right? A point further toward the edge. Now, of course, light in the real world actually bounces off every point of the mirror, but because this is a world where we think about orthogonal directions, right? If you think about a point toward the edge here, as the stone travels toward the edge, it would bounce more off the edge of the mirror and toward the edge of this square, right? So going down here corresponds to going right. Now that's not really the only decision you would make, but it's the one that makes the most sense consistently across the whole game. 7-month resub. Wow, it's been that long since we got Twitch partnered. Crazy. Crazy. You're making me feel like I'm taking a long time to make the game. First example you can think of is collision detection. If an entity moves and collides with something, you could send a message to that other thing to notify it of the collision. I disagree. So collision detection is actually a classic example of a cross-cutting concern, meaning there's no real clear ownership of what should happen. It doesn't belong to one object or the other. That's a very object-oriented way to think about it, right? Very often you want what should happen. Let's say you want to play a sound based on the two things that hit each other, based on what materials they're comprised of. You want to pick the most appropriate sound from your library of sound effects. That is not owned by one or the other thing, right? And if you arbitrarily give it to one, that's a weird architectural decision, right? It's a thing about the situation involving both guys. That's not a message from one guy to another thing. It's just regular procedural code. The collision system just looks at the two entities, looks at the two effects, does some calculations and says, this is the sound effect. That is the right way to do that. Messaging is not the right way to do that. Second situation you're thinking about is player events. If the player dies, it can make sense to send a player died message to multiple systems if they need to handle it in some way. That would make slightly more sense, but not really. I mean, if you do that for every single thing that can happen, then you're going to have an insano bananas number of different messages that almost nobody ever pays attention to, because most people aren't going to care about every little thing that happens in the game. And you're spending CPU and memory fragmentation probably shuttling these messages around to nobody. If you have to ask every single entity in the level, do you care about this message? Do you care about this message? Do you care about this message? Your game is going to run slow as a butt, and you're not going to be able to make a battle royale with 10,000 players on a server like a competent programmer could. So it's not a good model. And I would go further and to say that the only reason why it seems like a good model, well, there's one case in which it's actually a good model, which is if you're making a totally generic game engine system where you want any random thing to be pluggable into any other random thing, and you have no idea what people are going to build with it, and you don't care that much about performance. That's the one case in which that architecture might be the one you choose. But really, I think the reason it gets chosen mostly is because people were taught object-oriented dogmatism in school or in industry or wherever, and that's just how they learn to conceptualize problems. But it's very often not the simplest or most effective way to structure the solution to a problem. Very often. Why not think about the rays reflecting from the middle of the mirror instead of following orthogonal axes? You could do that. It results in some behavior that we didn't like as much, basically. Having to do with like how players look when they walk around in the vicinity of the mirror and stuff. Think about where a laser ray would go that you point at the same point of the mirror as you walk past it. So another thing to think about is the following. The reason the reason using the middle point of the mirror doesn't make as much sense as you would think is, imagine you have a wall of mirrors, right? And someone is just moving around in space relative to this wall of mirrors. You would want your result to be continuous, approximately, with what happens. So as I go from this mirror to this mirror, right? Well, if when I'm in this square and I'm going down, let's say, let's go back to our example before. If I'm in this square and I'm going down, then if I use the edge thing, then as soon as I cross this line, I'm in this square and I'm going up, and I'll end up in the same place. When I was in this square, bouncing off the right edge of this middle mirror, I was toward this thing, right? And then when I was in this square, bouncing off the left edge of this mirror, I'm also there. So it gives you continuity, right? Whereas if you take the bouncing off the middle of the mirror, which is actually what I tried first because it seemed like the thing, because it's like these objects are kind of logically in the middle of the square. So if you bounce off the middle, then as you go toward the bottom, right, then you're going to kind of come in at this angle toward the middle, and then you're going to be toward the left edge, right, instead of the right edge. But then as soon as you go past this bottom line, then you're going to bounce off this mirror and you're going to be toward the left edge of this square. So you'll have a guy, when you see the ghost reflection, he's going to be walking to the left, and then he's going to teleport over here and be walking to the left. And it looks real bad. It looks real bad. Whereas in the edge version, you get full continuity. You walk from here, you end up here, and so forth. Well, I think in this case, you snap one square closer, except that actually we also interpolate that distance, or we will when we're done. But you want the left-right direction to be continuous, or it's crazy. These decisions were not arbitrary, believe me. It's kind of interesting, though, this is, one of the things, I'm making a lot of levels lately, and I'm having really a lot of fun with it because I'm getting to really explore the space of the game and the possibilities that arise when all these things combine, right? And though this is one that players probably will never understand, as a designer, you get to see this behavior and understand it and carry it forward. Like, this is part of the collection of game design knowledge that I have now, is this weird thing about mirrors. Like, and it's just fun to carry those things away from a game. Mirrors in the game do their own thing entirely, not the same as real mirrors. Yeah, sort of. You would think of it that way. Like, well, I'm not really sure. Like, the thing that makes them not like a real world mirror is that in this game, like, your reflection is in a specific place, right? Whereas in the real world, an observer can stand anywhere and see your reflection, right? And that's just like a different thing, I guess. But yeah, there's definitely some kind of like, we're quantizing the behavior of a mirror, and it forces us to think about things that are not really a thing in the world, right? So, Richard Feynman has an interesting speech on this that's transcribed in book form, but again, or actually is a good speech. I think he gave it in New Zealand, where just for a couple of minutes of it, he's talking about how crazy mirrors are. Like, when you look in a mirror and you see something reflected there, what's really happening is the light from that thing took every possible path from the object to every point on the mirror to your eye and made a tremendous mess. But most of that mess what do you call it? Destructively interfered with each other on like a quantum field level. And the only one that didn't destructively interfere and in fact amplified, because as you get toward the shortest path of the mirror, the things start to constructively interfere instead of destructively interfere, right? And you get this amplification effect. So the reason it seems like light bounces orthogonally off mirrors is because that's the shortest path for the light to take. And the light actually does everything else also, but that just dissolves into incoherence, right? So it's actually super bananas what mirrors really do in the real world. And actually every surface is a mirror, sort of. So there's that aspect too. I recommend watching that speech. Now you just understand real world mirrors less. Yes. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's this one. Let's see. Such high video quality.
We have a theory which is called quantum electrodynamics, which is our pride and joy. It's so successful and it's so wide in its application. And what I would like to tell you about is that theory, how it works, how it looks like it works, what the world looks like from that point of view.
I hope you guys have enough volume to hear it.
Physics has got a history, there's a theoretical history of synthesis perpetually. Of course, the experiment is always finding new phenomena. Problem is to work them together, and sometimes we see that they're different aspects of the same phenomenon. An example is, of course, the simplest and earliest one is that the laws of motion became, in the theory, explained the properties of heat, because heat was motion, and if you knew how motion worked, you could understand the thermal properties. It also explained the properties of sound, which is otherwise a mystery, as the motion of the atoms and waves in the gas. Aside from that, knowing the laws of motion, you had to know Newton, who gave us the laws, worked out the laws of motion, also gave us another theory about the forces between large masses and distances from one another called the theory of gravity. Well, that's just that thing, the theory of gravity, is well known and understood pretty well, but is not what I'm going to talk about. As the time went on, phenomena associated with electricity, rubbing combs in your hair and things like that, and magnetism became interesting to the experimental physicists, and they discovered relations between them experimentally until they saw, ultimately, that light is what we see is only one little part, but from the physicist's point of view, the accident that the human eye happens. And when this quantum laws of motion were applied to electrons to explain the properties of matter, it was a fantastic success. Varies in time, or vice versa. That there's a nice relationship between the behavior in space and behavior in time, with very subtle effects that the theory of interaction of light with electricity should explain. Professor Swinger, that's not me, 2-4. But imagine the checkerboard with 100 million piece squares on each side. Now, hundreds of millions of these checkers in different positions moving through the board, taking pieces and being taken from the other. Which way are they going to swirl? Which way is the game going to go? The difficulty of the rules that is involved, but the multiplicity of its action and interconnections.
Anyway,
as you all know,
well, I don't want to sit here for an hour trying to find the part of the talk. This whole lecture series is really good, as are all his speeches.
Altogether, I can only emphasize with delight and excitement the fact that so much of nature is so accurately describable by one theory.
I'm just trying to find the part that I was talking about.
That's our job. Now, I'm trying to make myself clear. So I would like to discuss this with you. Will you please keep coming in spite of the fact that you don't understand it? because I don't understand it either. And the fun of it is that it's so mysterious, okay? That's the fun of it. So this business about understanding requires just a few words. And so I'm going to say something about the relationship, and I hope we get some of your cooperation. Sometimes you don't understand because, say, the language the fellow comes from America and he talks too fast. That's my fault, and I apologize. I hope it's all right.
All right. Yeah, it might be in the second lecture. I don't know exactly. Really good speeches. Watch them, absorb them. They're real good. But anyway, in one of those, he basically talks about, it's only 4 speeches, I think. Maybe it's the second one. He talks about this behavior of mirrors and how crazy it is. It's real good, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, good link. Thanks for the link, man. So, do you want to stream? Oh, you're probably at home, right? Because I'm ready to go to bed. Is that yeah, you're at home, or yeah, you want to stream? Yeah, you're at home. Okay. So I think that's going to be the end of the stream for me. We'll find someone to host. Tomorrow, I want to do a number of hours of streaming to do more of a push on graphical polish kind of things. I want to, people on the team are asking for a little bit more polish to camera movement. So for example, when you start working on shaders, like you'll notice we have this nice little specularity on these turtles, or like if we go to like, whoops, wrong window. If we go to like this one, a thing with crystals, we have these reflections on the crystals, but they don't like move at all unless we put fake animation into them. But in reality, even if you're standing still, you're almost never perfectly motionless, right? So we want to add maybe a little bit of subtle motion to the camera that happens at all times. And then maybe some, as the level starts, have a little bit of like a camera moving in. And then maybe even as the character moves, like maybe as you move a lot left and right, we just have a little bit of a shift left and right. So we're going to probably experiment with a lot of that tomorrow. I don't know how much of that we'll do. I also want to fix the janky player movement that's been a problem for months, the kind of drunken thing that happens sometimes. That'll be one more step toward the robustness situation. What time do I plan to stream? I don't know. Probably in the morning, my time, a little bit, and then have a break, and then some more. It's hard to predict. Some players will possibly want to turn all of that off. Well, maybe. I don't know. I mean, we're not talking about big effects here. We're talking about very small effects. If it's distracting, then we won't do it, actually, right? So this is all experimentation time. Experimentation time. Is that light ray a volumetric thing or something simpler? It is something simpler. It is basically a card that is rotated to face the camera that has texturing on it. I could show you. So in the editor, let me hide this. Whoops. Okay, there we go. So you just sort of place these, and then they get extrapolated around. But see, it's got a base texture on it, but then it's being clipped to the light map, or sorry, the shadow map, right? So if I move it out of the shadow map, there's no contribution, right? Because early when we added these, they were being placed inconsistently all the time, and I got really grumpy about how they didn't make visual sense. So now they're forced to be parallel to the sun direction and scaled by the shadow map. There is a mode, I don't remember what the control is, but when you're setting these up, there's a control that'll like draw the portion of this that's outside the shadow map in bright purple so you can see how much you're missing by, and it helps you place it and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so when I talk about camera transitions, this sort of tells you what we're thinking of anyway. Like, if I zoom back very far, you're going to start seeing a bunch of crap. So it's not, and if we filled out all the levels this much, it's a lot. So I'm really thinking like, you know, if this is where the camera ends up, it probably starts like there, or maybe even there. And it goes to there over like several seconds. So it's not going to be a dramatic thing. It's going to be just more of a, you know, non-dramatic thing. All right, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. Let's find somebody to host. We got raided tonight, so we got to pass the gas on to the next people. Game development. I don't know how many people consistently use this tag. Let's make a co-op open world RPG. Okay, is it in JavaScript? What is this, Unreal? It's Unreal. Okay. Unreal is real enough. This guy's music is too loud. Okay, I'm going to raid him and tell him the music is too loud and you can't hear what the hell he is saying. Thanks everybody for coming by, and I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, tell him it nicely. Just like, hey man, it's a little loud.